Hi, everyone. We're going to go for our next award recipients. And I always think the hard thing about being an award recipient towards the end is you got to wait and wait through the whole meal. A couple of people have come up to me and said, "Hey, Dave, what are they winning? What's that thing?" And it's in your program, but I did want to say Julia Reimer is the artist who created these beautiful glass blowings. All of the information is in your program. If you want to find out more about her and her work, it's there. She's not here tonight, but spiritually, can we give her a round of applause anyway and thank her for doing that? Thanks, Julia. This is for you. Merry Christmas. Okay, everyone have their seats. Should we go? I don't want to get anyone too excited, but I got a costume change for this next one, so I want to make sure I get it right. Our next recipient is Jackie Cameron. Let me tell you a little. Can we hear it from the family table? Jackie's kids like to drink. Jacqueline Cameron is being recognized for starting a company at age 75 that creates clothing for people who use wheelchairs or have other mobility challenges. This makes a huge difference in the lives of these individuals. She recently received a grant and research initiative that allowed her company, Superfly, to clothe 58 individuals dealing with brain injuries and spinal cord injuries. Let's find out a little bit about this amazing 81-year-old woman. Here's a video.
My phone rang, and this gentleman said, "This is Stanley Allen calling," and I thought, who's he, right? And he said, "I'm calling to tell you that you were nominated and you won." I started to cry. I thought, what? How could that be?
I was thrilled to nominate my mom, to see what she's done through our whole life, but then starting this company at 75 out of her closet to help my dad. We joke about she came out of the closet at 75, but it's just so inspiring to see, like, it doesn't matter what age.
And for people to say, wow, you know, it's okay to wear clothes that are for somebody who can't dress. It's a difficult transition. It was for my husband.
He couldn't dress himself anymore and he was getting frustrated, and she came along with her scissors and just said, "Okay, this is the day," and cut his favorite shorts, and he's like, "What the heck?" And she goes, "Trust me, you're gonna love them." And she came back the next day with the zippers in it, and my brother came over and said, "Hey Mom, that's a Superfly."
And most people start buying bigger and bigger because that's the only way they can get them on.
But it allows me to wear clothing that's fitted to my size, because I'm not having to wear an extra large, so that there's enough bagginess to get my arms and my body through the item of clothing.
She is just a blessing, because her clothes free people up so they can be far more independent. It makes life simple for everyone who's living with them or working with them.
The thing I really work hard at is to make it look normal.
So I can still look and feel confident in what I'm wearing. And if you feel like you look good, you're gonna exude that confidence a little more and not let the fact of being the only guy in a wheelchair in the room affect you quite as much.
Like, Superfly was really born out of love. And then the gift that it was, you know, helping people have dignity and being able to get out and enjoy life.
My mission is to help others. And I know there's millions of people out there that can use the clothes, but if I can help one, it makes me happy because I've made someone happy.
This is Jackie Cameron. Thanks for being here. Looking at that, all of these videos make me react emotionally. But yours, I didn't get to watch because I had a costume change. And so tell me about what I'm wearing and how it works.
Okay, if I stand up?
You do whatever you want. It's your show. Here, I'll hold
Okay,
this.
you hold that. So his shoulders are frozen, so trying to put his sleeve on is very difficult. So now look at this.
Look at.
And the same to the other side.
Well, let's do that too. I love that you have a wire. I think we just got married there, Jackie. I'm not sure what happened.
How easy is that? Nobody's crying, nobody's hurt. And that's called the Gigi, not a bib. It's a garment guard.
I think I want to wear this. Can I keep wearing this one? I like the look. So, your amazing, there, I'll hold this. You just sit. Your amazing daughter, oh, I guess I'm taking that off too. It is easy. Your daughter, Michelle, talked a little bit about your dad. So, or your husband, I should say, her dad. Explain how this came to be.
Well, he was diagnosed with an incurable disease that would, eventually, he wouldn't be able to get dressed. And so I had formulated this in my mind that one day I would adopt his clothes. And so that's how it came to be, so that we could get out every day, and which we did. We went on a picnic every day, and he loved looking great, because if you look great, you feel great, correct?
And and I get this. You could see how people would say, well, if I just get big enough clothes, then I can get into them.
That's
but then
right.
it doesn't look good.
No,
And
the collar is down to here because you're trying to fit here, right? Or the pants are over here trying to get your legs in.
And so now there are people with mobility issues who can, instead of taking 3 hours to get dressed, can now do that much quicker.
And it can take two people to try and dress you if you have the shoulders are not mobile anymore. So
You use the word, and Michelle used the word, dignity. What does that mean?
that means exactly that, dignity, giving you that feeling of self-worth instead of totally be worthless, not being able to do anything. When you can't wipe your nose and you can't put your clothes on, it becomes very, very difficult. And so there was a time in my husband's life where it was, he was angry. And that happens to all of us who lose our abilities. And I kept saying to him, something good comes of everything. And so Superfly was the good thing because he felt that he could do something for others.
And at 75 years old, you decided to start a company. Now, a lot of people at 75 years old decide to take a nap. You did not decide to do that.
No.
Why?
Well, because I was on a mission. I knew all of us that it was a wake-up call to all of us, and we take things for granted. Being able to eat, being able to dress, being able to do all the things that you're so used to doing, like sailing.
And this is
Everything is over, right? So you adapt to the new life, first of all. And being able to dress is a big thing. Especially, like I see you always look pretty spiffy.
I don't know about that, but I try, Jackie, I try.
I know, but if all of a sudden you couldn't,
Yeah.
that's difficult.
Well,
Right.
the expression of aging is not for the weak, right? And
No.
it is
Well,
hard.
yeah, but I'm pretty excited tonight because I found out I'm only 66. Because according to that. Guess
That is awesome.
so tomorrow
Yes.
I'm going to download the app for old age pension because I think I can go around twice.
Get a double dip. Why not? You know what? So I have to tell you from my perspective, Jackie, you just tell a joke, and it was great. So Jackie, we laughed. You know what gave her the biggest smile? Her daughter Leanne really laughed. And that is a mom saying, I made my daughter laugh. How important is family for you?
Very, extremely. But I know I'm a handful for them.
Oh, I've met Michelle. She's probably a handful for you, too. So, a woman came up to me in one of the breaks and said, you have to remind people that behind every top 70 person, there is probably a top 70 spouse or top 70 kids and top 7 of all of these people and all of the families. And I feel like while you're here, and you did so well to make Leanne laugh, that we should take a minute to recognize the spouses and the kids and the grandkids and the neighbors of all of our recipients here today who've done so much.
Having said that, I have a table of grandkids back there.
You have the grandkids back there?
Yeah, and I think one of them is the tallest of everybody here.
Is that right? Yeah. How tall is he?
He's
How tall is your...
7'10". No.
7'10".
No, he's 6'8".
He's 6'8"?
I think if he stands up, you'll see him. There he is.
Look at this. Does anybody want to stand beside him and see if you're taller? I think we should just derail the whole thing for a height contest. For people in the room, I have two advice thoughts for you. For people in the room who are feeling age and they're not as mobile as they were, and they're aware that they're always buying slip-on shoes now, and they don't want to admit it, but they are, and they're aware that they're changing and feeling less and feeling angry and feeling... So for those people who are dealing with that, what is your advice to them? Because your husband had to go through that.
Right. I think the more you engage with people, especially young people, that's great. Yeah. And if you can read or learn, that's also amazing. A couple of times I've read where if you read a lot, you live another 7 years. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do that you live longer. Yeah. So I'm going to live 40 years, and now I'm 66. Okay. Yeah.
Now we're doing fashion and people are liking her
What
shoes.
is she
There's a
saying?
lot going. She says she wants your sparkly shoes.
Oh, really?
Well, that's a lot of leg to be thrown out there, Katie. Jackie, I just want to say. Finally, for the people in the room who say, I'm 60, I'm approaching 70, what's your advice to say, live? What's your advice to people who want to be like you?
Well, I just think keep thinking about your age all the time is not an option. It's so what, right. You know? So go out and have fun.
How about that? I think the world of you, and I think because my dad this year had a stroke and he fell and broke his shoulder, and he had to do all the things suddenly, and we all know what it was like when our dads were the strongest person in the world, and we thought they could fix anything and they could beat up anyone and they were the best athlete, they just didn't want to be in the NHL, but they probably could. All of those things that I thought about my dad, suddenly I saw him not that way. And I know that his life is still valuable and still filled with pride and joy because of people like you and because of Superfly and Jackie Cameron specifically. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
We now have Beverly Foy is going to come up and present to you with one of these things. I'm going to hold this. I'm going to take your mic right off because it'll look better in the picture, dear heart. There.
I forgot to say also you should swear.
You should swear? Do you have a favorite swear you'd like to throw out?
Only in French.
Only in French, she said. I'm not going to walk into that one. Leanne will come up here and kill me. You made my mom swear in front of everybody. Look this way for your picture. I don't want to interrupt anymore. Sorry. I know. This is Jackie Cameron and Superfly. You don't have to. You're such a mom. Let me clean up, you say. No. You just get down there. You're fine. I'll just put this, I'll just hang these up right here. Shh, don't tell anybody that. Seriously. So great. Okay, now, our final honoree. Isn't this been a tremendous night? Seriously? Let me tell you a little bit about Ken Stevenson. Ken, yes, let's hear it for his crowd. Ken is being recognized for his work in producing superior railway ties, but even more importantly, he is being recognized for using his business acumen to bring Canada's first cardiac imaging center to Calgary. The center, opened in 2005, is now a world-class research, training, and clinical center and performs 4,000 scans a year. Only one other center in North America matches this number. And here's the other number. He is a young 86 years old. Let's have a look at his video.
Well, I'm very proud, obviously, and honored to have this award, and I think it's a super initiative for Calgary.
We felt really strongly that Ken deserved this nomination for this very prestigious award. I've known Ken for about the last 15 years or so, and have to say without a doubt he's one of the most special people that I've ever met. Great businessman, done a lot of things in the community. More importantly for me, really a great community supporter and philanthropist, particularly as it pertains to my area of interest, the Stevenson Cardiac Imaging Center at the Libin Cardiovascular Institute. He's not slowed down, even though that he's past 70, comes to work on a regular basis.
Over 70s are making a significant contribution to the economy and society, so it's just like people getting awarded under 70.
So Ken had a vision, which is what he does. So 15 or more years ago is that he worked with some of our cardiologists. They told him that the next wave of imaging is going to be cardiac MRI. At that time it was not widely used at all. Ken raised money, worked with the health authority, worked with the university. They put everything together, raised millions of dollars, bought a dedicated cardiac MRI machine that they put in the basement of the Foothills Hospital. And over that time period, it's grown into the largest clinical MRI program in the country, one of the largest in the world, but more importantly, is a source of research and education that is something to be very proud of.
I'm chairman of two software companies, Circle Cardiovascular, which came out of the center. CHATA is which one I'm involved with and chairman as well, and it deals with how to deal with your database more efficiently. We're in 40 countries. You know, it's a great story. And the sale of NARSCO was a nice accomplishment. Everyone says they don't want to be recognized, but I don't think that's really the truth. So I think most people like to be recognized. Yeah, it's a fun trip.
I love it. Ken Stevenson. Now, welcome, Ken. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. One of the things that folks told me here is they said, do you know Ken's here, but there are 110 people here because Ken is here. Where are you? Can I hear from my 100? Tell me a little bit about the teams and how important that is, because clearly there's a lot of people that are here with you.
Yeah, well, all these people mean a lot to me. It's my family, of course. And then I have friends and associates, and these people are all involved with companies I've been involved with over the past years. So I just wanted them to go out and share with me the honor.
Well, it is an honor for me, and I'm sure for them it's tremendous.
And they've contributed to my getting this honor. So.
Tell me a little bit about your advice to people aging and your thoughts around, as an 86-year-old, to say, okay, here's what I've learned.
Yeah, I don't think that aging is a very good measure. I think that vitality is a better measure. So how much energy do you have? Vibrance, curiosity, how's your health? So I think we should have a vibrance or a vitality index to measure how you're doing. So, yeah. So for over 70s, you know, I think that you should measure your vitality at age 70, if you like, and that of your partners, and then plan on how you can best exploit that vitality. So, if you can hear a snicker, there'll be a little snicker out there, you know.
Right, right.
And that snicker is that they say, he did none of that. So for that, I am sorry.
I want to ask you why you do what you do, but I got to ask, what's wrong with railroad ties, and what did you do to make them better?
Well, you know, normally in the world, people use concrete and wood. And we brought technology from Australia. BHP used to own the company, and into Squamish, BC, which is the worst possible location it could have been in. And finally, a few years later, we had to put all the equipment on trucks and move them to Texas and start over again. And so we, over the last 15 years, we built a very strong company with the product. The product is better than wood.
It is.
And so, and we sold it a year ago last September, so that was nice to have done that, yeah.
Why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I enjoy it. I think the serial entrepreneur sort of got a negative connotation to it, but I have been a serial entrepreneur, and you get a lot of highs out of being an entrepreneur. So I like continuing to do that, but now I'm doing it mostly vicariously through the people that I the companies I'm involved with. So yeah,
that's it. I'm as the final person. If there's someone in here who's scared, and I feel like all of us get scared at some point, what do you do when you're nervous? Because I know an entrepreneur, there's highs, but there's also this could go wrong.
Maybe you should tell me right now. But no, I'm not sure what your question is, but I guess I've learned over the years.
It's great, yes.
Is that if you're going to get a bad phone call, you got to ask yourself, is this going to be the worst thing in your life? And if it's not, you can do the bad phone call.
Then you're good. See? I don't have to worry anymore. That's why you're here. I'm going to bring up our final award person to bring this up. Brian, is it Brian? The world-renowned Brian Fileski, the man of the video of Intergen. Come on up here, Brian. We're going to present Ken the final Top 7 over 70 award. So while Ken makes his way back to his 110 friends and family members, I want us all to think back to the beginning of this evening when we heard about the birds and how important they are. Gus Yaki, Bob Braun, Sylvia Rempel, Eldon Smith, John Lacey, Jackie Cameron, and finally Ken Stevenson. Can you 7 stand up for us one more time while we recognize where we are today? So good. Isn't that something? These are tremendous people. I was lucky enough 10 years ago to go into business with my brother Rob. And Rob and I got to work on this event tonight along with a lot of great people. And I was thinking, Rob's over here, that what's tremendous is the amount of work he puts into our business, that even though he's 10 years younger than me, somehow I'm going to work it out mathematically that I'm hosting on the day that he wins a Top 7 over 70 award. And where I get to win the over 100-year-old host award. So, Rob, we got some work ahead of us, but I'm lucky to have you. So we're great there. Thanks, Rob. There's a story I tell that I wanted to use as our final moment here tonight, and I've told it a couple of times, but it's such an important thing and lesson that my dad taught me. One time, my dad and I went to visit my Aunt Gert. My Aunt Gert was old at the time, so in my head, she was 100. I don't know how old she actually was because I was young, so maybe she was 70. I don't remember. We went to the facility where she was, and she was the grumpiest woman. I remember we walked and it was hot, and she turned up the heat, and she complained about the heat, she complained about the food, she complained about the care, she complained about everything. And Dad, being the nephew, listened and chatted, and then finally we left. And we were in the truck on our way home, and I said, how did Aunt Gert get to be so grumpy? And Dad said, practice. Isn't that great? And I think of that all the time. And when you think of our 7 people we got to meet today, what did they do? What did they practice? They practiced being positive. They practiced getting up and getting to it. They practiced loving the worlds they were in, whether it was birds or railroad ties. They practiced being in. And tonight is my favorite night of the year because I get to see and I get to be inspired by, as our mayor said, I get to be inspired by these people who didn't practice grumpy, who don't say kids these days, who don't say when I was a kid. They get up and they say, what do we got to do today? Let's do that and let's make something happen. So I am so proud to be a Calgarian. I'm so proud to live here. And today I'm especially proud to say I got to sit in a chair that was very close to greatness, which was here. We're lucky, we're lucky, we're lucky. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon again. Thanks, everybody.